So they called me into work on my day on the July 4th holiday, which is fine. I told them, I said, I'd rather be working, making some double time, making extra money, instead of sleeping, working. And anytime you go to work, it clears your mind. I ran a business out of my house for 5 years, and the house became totally disarrayed into like a business, Now I got rid of all the books and dusted and all that stuff and slowly remodeled. One side was so full of books, but I remodeled it and rented it, and I had to dust, paint, cleaned, rip some plumbing out, redo some plumbing, all kinds of stuff. I took a week's vacation, and I had paid somebody before that to rip the tub out. It was one of them cast iron tubs, And so I finally got it done, and it was a beneficial thing. It paid back the expense, the $5,000 expense paid back itself over the years. And the peace of mind was important too. I think I'm gonna get me a milkshake. I'm gonna get me either a strawberry or vanilla milkshake. This is my July 4th celebration, and I'm happy with the simple things. I'm gonna go ride my bike and get some exercise and regroup and come up with a plan, and I might even go over and do some work at the other place. I'm pretty sure I will.
How can I help you?
A strawberry milkshake.
Yeah, what else?
What sizes you got? They don't even ask what size.
One more time?
What sizes do you have?
We got small, medium, and large.
Large.
Yeah, what else?
That's it. I have to do their job for them. That's pretty sad. So, to make a long story short, what is July 4th? It's celebration. What do you celebrate? You can celebrate the Gentile holiday, or you can use the holiday and celebrate God and peace and love and truth. And if anybody comes into your life that's fickle, liar, contradiction, future faking, selfish, they're not part of your celebration in this life. I celebrate truth.
I'm sorry?
I celebrate truth. I celebrate somebody who's real. People who are real, the church. I don't celebrate the fakers, the moochers, the selfish people. As a matter of fact, today, I was talking to a sister in Christ the other day. I don't know, maybe it was yesterday. But, and we were talking about how the narcissist, see, before I say that, the narcissist is just selfish. It's all about self, self-glory, self-protection and all that. And so they're just selfish. And we're talking about how the narcissist agents are really just running on a program. It's not even about them. It's a program that the system has put in them, and they don't even know that they're running on that program. That's why sometimes they can be nice and loving and giving, but it's always they give to get. They're nice to receive. They're only kind when they want something. They don't have the program of Christ. They have the program of the flesh, and they've learned how to mask it, and they'll even tell you that they're not really who they are. They'll even tell you they're not real. They pretend to be somebody they're not, just to make people accept them. And for somebody to say that out of their mouth, And I've actually seen people in the real world shift their reality, shift their personality because they knew they had to pretend to be something they're not, or they would be rejected from a position, place, or job, or something like that. They had to kick them out. They would have been kicked out. They had to change their personality or they'd be kicked out. I've seen that. I've actually seen people I want to face, because I want you to hear me. I've actually seen this. I've actually seen a person so there's this person that comes in with a personality and everybody loved her, right? I've seen a person shift her personality to that person. She took on that person's personality. That's not who she really is. But she took this person's personality, and I'm not even joking. That really happened. And so when you see somebody take somebody else's personality, because everybody loved that person, but when this person gets stressed, the mask will slip, That's not really who they are. The old person comes back up. I actually saw that in the real world. I saw it happen about 5 years ago. Just so nobody thinks I'm talking about anybody right now, it was like 5 years ago I saw that. And it's like, you actually saw the person take on that other person's personality. Not even joking. I'm not even joking. It's so bizarre that I don't even have words for it. It's like they have a personality, but everybody hates them. They saw somebody that everybody loved, and so they took on that personality, and then everybody loved them. But as you know, it's not real. You know it's not real. I'm going to take my electric bike. It's about 20 miles, 10 miles one way, 10 miles back in a really nice park area. And I need to get me one of them bike racks to put on my car and just put it on the back of the car. And I got a bike rack, a bicycle rack. I might even do that today. I might even go to Walmart and see if they have a bike rack. But when you really wake up to the fact that some people can't be themselves because they're so evil that they have to pretend to be somebody else, it's really sad. And I think that's what it is. I think narcissism and pure selfishness, they're so selfish. And I went through a situation recently, and I've been thinking about it for the last 24 hours. I've been thinking, I know I've seen this before, and who do I relate this to? And I thought about my ex-wife. She was all selfish and manipulating, playing games. And I thought about, in my childhood, in my family, somebody who was always selfish and playing games with people. And just, it was all, they never helped anybody else, but they wanted to be helped. I saw these selfish people who would say they love you, but their actions didn't line up with love. It actually lined up with the opposite of love. And it's possible they got bitter. They might have loved you once and you did something to make them bitter, and they just still in bitterness, and they're trying to get revenge, or a woman scorn type thing, But if a person is really bitter at somebody, just why not walk away, Why not just treat them with a stick, a 10-foot pole? You might extend your hand. Hey, how are you? But why try to still entangle that person in something? And a lot of times, let's say there is a woman scorned. You could see that if she's trying to get revenge, she's going to future fake you, lie, pretend, because I remember, and I thought about it today while I was working. I thought, oh, so there's 3 patterns that keep showing up. After this person got hurt, they're trying to hurt back. So they're trying to entice you with something that's in the future, but it's not really real. And then they pull the rug out. So they throw out this image, let's go do this, or let's go to the beach, and then they pull the rug out. Let's spend time together, pull the rug out. Let's do this, pull the rug out. So I think that's more of a bitterness, revenge type thing. And the reason they are doing that, because they can't look in the mirror and admit everything they started out with lies, and it's going to crash and burn. And so their whole life is a lie. Their whole paradigm is a lie. Everything they're doing is a lie. And it's like future faking, contradictions, lies, control freak, all these things that's in them tells you what is their root. Their root is fear. They're actually living in fear, but they will never admit it, because everything that they're doing, you take all the data points, control, lies, manipulation, future faking, words to manipulate, master manipulator. They're living in fear. They're not walking by faith, they're in fear, because if they were walking by faith, they just tell the truth and let the, what's that saying? Let the whatever fall in its place. If you're walking in fear, you're going to try to hide and cover, but if you're walking by faith, you're just going to tell the truth and let the marbles end up where they at, or whatever the word is. There's a saying, and I know it, but I just forgot it. Let the dominoes fall where they fall, right? So if you're walking by faith, you tell the truth, and the dominoes just fall where they fall, and you don't care, because you know in the truth you're free. In Jesus you're free. So a person who's living in fear of what they're going to say, whether it's fear of losing you, fear of being found out, fear of being rejected, fear of some kind of insecurity from childhood, whatever fear it is, they're just telling you what you want to hear to try to dangle the fish on a little bit longer. And so when you're on the other side of that, you have to look at it not with emotions, but with truth. And so when you look at it with emotions instead of truth, when you look at it, you got to look at it not with emotions, but truth. So when you look at it with truth and not emotions, then your emotions equalize. And you know if this person shows back up, you've already determined they're a liar, they're a future faker, they don't follow through, they're wavering, they're playing games, they're probably bitter, they're insecure, and everything out of their mouth is going to be those things. So you realize you don't necessarily have to call them a devil. They seem like a devil, but they're trying to survive in this devil system. So they're using devil tools to survive in a devil system. And they should have planned a long time ago. They should have thought about it a long time ago to try to set their life up in a certain way that they're not being used and abused by another devil. So another devil made them into a copy of a devil. So they got abused or hurt by a devil, and it made them into a copy, and they're a devil now. And I'm not saying they're devils, but I'm just saying their behavior looks devilish, and it looks like a program like we were talking about on the phone yesterday. So let's say it's a dating relationship. So you're together, and then you go through a separation. It takes about 2 months to heal. Then you go do it again around the mountain, a month. Around the mountain, 2 weeks. Around the mountain 1 week, around the mountain 1 day, around the mountain half a day, around the mountain 2 hours. Every phone call is like, you just lied, you just contradicted. So it don't take long to heal. You get pulled in with emotions, and then you see the lie and the future faking and the false promises and the fakery and fake persona or whatever. You see that going on. And so eventually, whether it's a conversation or look at this dude, he's not worried about crossing the road to right. Let's just laugh at that. It used to make me mad when I was younger. Now I just laugh at these people because they don't even care. Look, he's out in the middle of the road. Let's see. Is he on a drug or something? He might need some help. What is he doing? What's he doing? So you get to a point, you remember somebody in your family who you could never depend on. They were never there for you. And then this person, many years later, you've never met anybody like this, but then as you look back, you say, oh, yeah, that was just like my second wife. Oh, that was just like my family member. Oh, yes, I have met this person. Oh, I actually saw people take on different personalities. Oh, this is like a culmination of all those experiences. I've been away from these selfish flesh creatures for so long that I didn't even know they still existed, because I limit myself to spirit-filled believers. And so somebody caught me today. They were on vacation and came back, a couple. They said, when are we going to sit down and have lunch and talk about about the self idea? I said, oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, the self don't exist. I said, I got a sister in Christ 2 weeks ago. She realized the self don't exist either, without me even saying anything. And they said, that's a weird concept. I said, yeah, the self does not exist. It's not even a real thing. And anybody who's in the self is in fake reality. I said, the self is actually an illusion. And they said, well, let's sit down. We'll buy your lunch and we'll talk about it. And he and she both are deep thinkers, which is good. But I think they're on the opposites. I think they're deep thinkers in like chaos theory or something. They're nice people, don't get me wrong, and they listen to what I'm saying, and it's all based on the Bible. And so my point is this: whatever you face today, you've already faced before. And if there's something new that you're facing today, which I don't think it is, it's preparing you for something even worse coming down the pipe. But everything that was happening now is happened before. The narcissist that you're dealing with now, you've already dealt with them, either personally, marriage, job, family, whatever. You've seen this before, so there's nothing new. So when you write it down on a piece of paper, just write down all the contradictions, all the false promises, all the contradictions of those false promises. You realize you're just dealing with somebody who's just throwing out what you want to hear. And who does that? A salesperson. Who does that? A manipulator. They just tell you what you want to hear. They're not real. They're just telling you a storyline they think you want to hear. And within 24 hours, you're healed. Because you've already gone through the 2 month, the 1 month, the 2 week, the 3 days, the 1 day. So now, any text, any call, you know it's all just future faking. You know it's nothing. There's no substance to that person. They're in the selfishness mode. And so self is not there. The self doesn't exist. So they're in selfish mode. So you know they're not even a real person. So you have to get your new vision, and they're not a part of your new vision. See, like that remodel on that house? I really like that. And I had a contractor tell me, why don't you just put a wood floor on this porch? Because I was reconcreting the floor. Just put a wood floor. And they might be right. And I could actually use woods from pallets to do that. Free pallet wood. Something from a future faker. I actually drew this picture and it appeared. This was not here before I drew that painting with the future faker that I got mixed up with. And the future faker, she came up with the idea. To draw some paintings of the future that we might have together. She couldn't follow through. She couldn't follow through with the little stuff, so how are you going to follow through with the big stuff? It's impossible. You have to follow through with the small stuff in order for the big stuff to appear. That cat looks sickly. Be sad if they don't take care. Look at that. See, be sad if they don't take care of their pets. If a future faker can't follow through in the little things, how are they going to follow through in something in 5 years? They can't do it. They change with the wind. Those kind of people need authority in their life to the hilt because they cannot follow through. And then the sad part about those kind of people, if there is authority in their life to try to keep them in check, on par, stable, then they hate the authority. But the authority is actually saving their life. Like today, I was glad that I got called in because I got up, went and did some stuff at work. Now I can go ride my bike and get some exercise, get healthy, stay healthy. You have to look at life from the big picture, you know? And the big picture is, if they can't tell the truth in the little things, then now they can't tell the truth in the big things. If they can't follow through in the little things, the short-term things, you know they can't follow through in the long term. So the tormenting and the games and the mind games that they play is usually kind of revenge because you saw through them, you're not putting up with it, and you're calling them out on their junk. Pretty much, that is what it is.